I went to the library. This is literally me coming off of the last video when we finished Tower of Dawn, but I went to the library to find Kingdom of Ash, and we found it. It was in the YA section. I originally went to the fiction section where it was more like adult kind of books, and I saw like A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I also saw the Crescent City series, but I did not see Throne of Glass, so I'm like, maybe it's not considered fiction, maybe it's YA. So I went to the YA section, and I honestly forgot that I was looking for it because I started looking at other books. Like I found The Crown Prince, I saw Harry Potter, I saw Lightlark, and then all of a sudden I saw like Crown of Midnight, Empire Storms, Heir of Fire, and I was like, oh my gosh, here's a series. What was I looking for? Kingdom of Ash. And so here we have it, Kingdom of Ash, and look how thick this book is. And also holding this book, it was kind of strange for me to hold because I realized that the entire time of me reading the Throne of Glass series, I did not once read a physical book. It was all on my Kindle through the Libby app. And so the fact that I have this book in my hands right now is crazy. And it's the original covers before they were traditionally published or whatever. I don't even know if that made sense. Did I say the right words? I am so excited to read this. I am definitely 100% going to read this today. I'm going to be home pretty much all weekend. It's Labor Day weekend, and I'm going to just get into this book and start reading. Let's finish up Throne of Glass series. We're going to start Kingdom of Ash. Oh, before we start, let me tell you how many pages this book is, because I believe this is the biggest book of the series. 984, but that's acknowledgements. Oh my gosh, I got to make sure I don't accidentally like read the last page. Okay, the last page is 980. This is 980 pages. I'm not going to look. I'm going to show you. There you go. 980 pages. Okay, that's the intro. So I'm looking at the map right now for the book, and I can't find where the God City is. I can't even remember what the name of that city was where Kaol met Yrene. The Tor. Where the heck is the Tor? Or the Torre? I see Adarlan, Teresin, Ilwe, Fenharrow. I see Inish, where Yrene came from. Oh, there's an arrow down here saying the southern continent. So I'm assuming maybe Torre, Tor, and the palace are in the southern continent because it's down here at the bottom. Southern continent. I think that might be it. Okay. Whatever. I've seen some rankings that people have put online, and they say that Kingdom of Ash is up there. Like, top books of the entire series. Part 1, Armies and Allies. And so now I'm just curious, like, how do Kaol and Yrene and that army merge with Rowan and Lysandra and everyone else in the army, or in the gang of fighting for Teresin against Erwin? So we are in a new location. I am currently in Duluth, Georgia, and this was such a last minute trip. And let me tell you, like, the little details that I can get. So pretty much Jamie had bought tickets to go to Dragon Con with some of his friends, and originally it was just supposed to be them. I was not gonna go. They were supposed to go together, but then something happened with travel plans and timing and a lot of miscommunication, and because he had already bought the tickets, we had to kind of figure out a backup plan of how he was going to get there at a reasonable time so that we could go see the parade, because we went on a Saturday. Today is Saturday, and so we ultimately decided that if they can't travel together at the time that they claimed, me and him would go a couple of hours earlier and just go ourselves and meet them there, and they can decide how they want to transport themselves to there. And so we woke up at 2 a.m. this morning, left the house at 3:30 a.m. this morning, and got here at 9:30 in the morning to Atlanta, because that's where Dragon Con is. And so the reason why I am here is literally just because I had to drive Jamie and drop him off and get our hotel, so that way tonight when he's tired after the event, we can sleep, he can be rested, and tomorrow we can do some Duluth things and go home rested, because we did not want to take any risk with like trying to drive back the same day. So I'm here in the hotel room in Duluth, Georgia, all by myself. It is 3:30 p.m. I was able to get our room by 2:30. The thing is, I dropped Jamie off at Dragon Con at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I drove straight here and got here around 10:30ish, and I asked the lady, can I check in early? She said no, come back at 2. So for the first 4 hours of me being here with no hotel room to rest, since I've been awake since 2 a.m., I went to H Mart, which is a Korean superstore, and every time we come here to Duluth, that's like one of the top places we have to go to. It's kind of a tradition. It's a must go. We don't come here without going there. And so they have a little food court area, and I decided to get the beef bulgogi stone grilled bibimbap, and it was pretty good. And because I was by myself, and I obviously do not look Korean, the guy that took my order came over to me at my table while I had the food. Like, I was literally just looking at it, just see, okay, that was cool. Like, this looks like what it is. But he came over there to my table and asked me, do you know how to eat this? And I was kind of flustered because no one's ever asked me, do I know how to eat what's in front of me? That was like a very first time me taken aback kind of moment. And I was like, yeah, you just mix it all together, right? And he's like, yeah, you put the gochujang stuff in, you mix it up, and yeah, you eat it. And I'm like, okay, thanks. Like, I was trying to be nice, but it was also such an awkward experience because I didn't realize there was like a proper way to eat it. Anyway, that happened. And then right next door to H Mart, there is the Tree Story Bakery. And we also take a stop in there. They have this really tasty coffee bakery good that we always get, and it's really good in the microwave or even in the toaster oven, so that way the coffee flavoring can like melt a little bit. I can't eat a lot of those though because sometimes it gives me a headache with all the sweetness. But I didn't get any bakery goods because I would literally just ate the entire bibimbap meal thing by myself, and normally Jamie and I would have shared that, and so I was stuck. And so instead I got a mango smoothie, and I just sat in the bakery and I read more Kingdom of Ash in the bakery, and I didn't leave the bakery until I had finished my mango smoothie, which was like about an hour and a half. I think I finished eating lunch at H Mart around 11:45, and then I didn't actually leave Tree Story Bakery until about 1 o'clock. So then I got back to the hotel at 1:30, and she told me not to come back till 2, so I just sat in the lobby for a good 30 minutes. And now we're here in the room. I'm all showered, I'm all clean. I am so tired. You can probably tell that my eyes are half open right now, but I did get some reading done. I am now on chapter 6. And I'm still trying to remember what happened in Empire of Storm, because this book comes back to us from where Empire of Storm left off. And so I have no mention of Kaol and Yrene in this book yet. So should I have just read Tower of Dawn first and then Empire of Storms? No, because Tower of Dawn has little bits and pieces of what happens with Aelin and the crew, and I wouldn't have known what actually happened if I didn't read Empire of Storm first. So yeah, okay, so still Empire of Storms and then Tower of Dawn. Well, that is it. That's literally why I'm here. I don't know if that was a very good explanation for why I was actually here, but I'm not supposed to be here. That's the whole point of me telling you this story. Like, I am supposed to be at home by myself. I should have gone to like a Goodwill or any kind of hand-me-down thrift store so I can find some dresses, but I didn't. I drove with Jamie to Atlanta at 3 o'clock in the morning, just so I could sit in this hotel by myself. Oh, and another thing with how last minute this trip was, we literally booked this hotel room this morning while we were driving here. We wanted to drive at least halfway to here to make sure, like, okay, like, we don't have to meet his friends anywhere, and then I can just drop him off and go back home. That didn't happen. And so Jamie did not realize that he booked us a suite. We literally have an entire living room, and this bedroom has its own bedroom. Let me show you. Let me give you a living room tour. So this is the living room. Like, we literally have an entire section of just living space. We have another TV. We've literally never booked a suite before. Is this even considered a suite? We don't have a kitchen, but we do have a microwave. And this is the fridge. And then we have our bathroom, which is normal, the closet. Like, we expect the door to be here. The door is supposed to be right here, okay? Like, all that living space is too much. And then we literally have a door to close the bedroom. And then this is the bedroom. Wow. So like I said, Jamie's literally still at Dragon Con. It's only 3:40 now, and I have to go and pick him up again. However, he's gonna take the subway and take it all the way to the closest subway stop to me, so I don't have to go all the way back to downtown again, which would be so much easier, because driving out of that area was so scary when I left him. Like, I had so many nerves. This is the first time I've ever been alone in a foreign place by myself. Like, I'm not really by myself. He's only 40 minutes away, but I'm by myself right now pretty much, so it's kind of nerve-wracking. So I'm going to like make the room dark. I'm going to read until I fall asleep and take a little nap. I'm probably going to set an alarm probably 8 o'clock, just in case like he decides he wants to leave early, but I don't expect him to want to get picked up until 10. Like, that's what my brain has convinced me of. He's not gonna be ready until 10 p.m. Let's get to reading and taking a nap. another reading vlog update. I made a lot of progress, but before we get into where I'm at, I want to let you guys know that I'm currently in Boston, and I feel like Boston is one of those bookish kind of places. Honestly, I probably just made that up, but I just feel like I've seen other booktubers go to Boston and like go to all these cute bookstores, go to coffee shops and just drink at a cafe or something, and I don't think I'm gonna get to do that here because I am traveling with Jamie and his family, but I'm so excited. I think this is like kind of a bookish outfit, but we are actually going to go to a 360 viewing Boston place today. So all the bookish things I'm gonna try to do is gonna be all tomorrow whenever we start going to walk the Freedom Trail. Like I wanna go to, gosh, what's it called? I literally just looked at the itinerary yesterday. It's oh my gosh, okay, I'm gonna just have to put the name like here or something, but there's a cafe that I've seen some people go to, and there's also like Acorn Street. It's very close to Boston Common, so I'm so excited about that. But anyway, for Kingdom of Ash, here it is, Kingdom of Ash. I am currently on chapter 57. I was able to read almost 100 pages during our 6-hour travel time from home to Boston, which I think is really, really good. So we just got to the point where Aylin's been saved. She was kidnapped. She was like taken away by Maeve and like trapped for 2 months in an iron coffin, and she was tortured, healed, tortured again by Karen and Maeve until she would reveal where the keys are, but she never did. She stayed strong, and now she's saved. Rowan found her along with Larkin and Gabriel, and so now they've met up with Kale and Urine at Kale's home family kingdom, Anil. And so they're about to fight there. And we're also seeing like other side stories of like Adian and Lysandra like going off trying to get to Teresa to the north to try and like battle off parts of Marath, or like trying to break down their army or whatever. So there's like 2 different locations right now that I'm trying to keep up with. And if I'm being completely honest, it's really hard for me to describe because so much is going on, but I feel like it's starting to get epic, but I'm not really at the epicness yet, because right now I'm just seeing a lot of like fighting, people dying, surrendering, trying to find shelter, trying to survive through the night. It's snowing, it's winter, it's cold. But yeah, like I think we're almost 50% of the way through the book. We're like right there, almost 50% of the way through the book. But I still feel like whenever everyone is together again, like a whole group, Aylin in the front, about to unleash her fire, and then she's gonna like wipe everyone out. I think that's when it's gonna be epic, but it also needs to be with Erwin and Maeve. Like I'm wondering if Maeve is gonna like side with Aylin at the end and go against Erwin, because literally Maeve is only there to get away from Erwin and his 2 other Vouch King brothers. So I'm thinking like, why would Maeve side with Erwin when she's literally trying to get away from him? And Aylin is like probably the closest thing she'll get to getting what she wants. Like maybe in the end, if she sides with Aylin, Aylin will be like, okay, you can stay, whatever, you know? And I'm really hoping that Aylin or Dorian both survive. For some reason, I think Kale and Urine are gonna die, because you know, if one dies, they all die, and also Urine is pregnant. So I feel like they're gonna die. I just have a very strong feeling that they're gonna die. It's gonna be so sad. And like while I'm reading this book, I'm thinking that if I were to reread the series, it would make this last book feel so much more impactful whenever I do a reread, but that's gonna be a long time away because this book, the series, is so long. So I hope I gave you like a good enough update of what's happening in this book. Because right now it's just a lot of fighting, which is to be expected. Is the last book, but we still have no sign of Erwin. Maeve is like out looking for collars, something to put on Aylin, but she doesn't even know that Aylin has already escaped, doesn't even know that Karen's dead. Maybe she knows by now, we just haven't seen that perspective yet because we're not with Maeve. None of our main characters are with Maeve. We're gonna get some more reading done, but it's probably gonna be later in the afternoon, maybe even tomorrow, whenever I explore Boston a little bit. So I'm back home. It seems like I've been doing a lot of traveling, but it's really just those 2 trips, and I feel like I have been reading Kingdom of Ash for so long. I've already had to recheck it out at the library because I didn't finish in the first 2 weeks, and then I finally got it back in Libby, so I do have it on my Kindle app now. But since we have the physical book, I want to keep reading it through the physical book because it's so much more fun to have the pages. I mean, yes, I do read on my Kindle still, like at work I read on my phone, so that way it's more portable, so I leave this at home. But since we're home right now, we're gonna keep reading, and I'm gonna show you the progress of how much I've gotten done. Look at that. We are almost done. We're so close to the end. How do I like show you that this is almost the end? Like, so here's the front, and then that's how much left. So I think it's about like 200 pages, which is still a lot, by the way, considering how long this book is, which is almost 1,000 pages. 200 is not that much. And so I'm currently on chapter 94. Page 777, and I will see exactly the page number this book is without spoiling myself. There's 973, 983, 984. So yeah, literally about 200 pages left until this book is over. very strong feeling I'm probably gonna finish this by tomorrow. And with the events that are happening right now, I kind of am wondering how this book ends, because there was a lot of war going on for like the first 700 pages that I've already read in this book, but no one has come together yet. I mean, yes, they have, like they're slowly all going to Teresin to defend Teresin, but literally I'm 700 pages in and only like 75% of everybody is in Teresin. We're still missing that other 25% that needs to get to Teresin to officially fight off Marath, fight off Erwin. And the thing is, it's like Erwin isn't even really fighting at this point. Oh my god, am I spoiling? If you've been watching my videos, you just know that I've already been spoiling this story anyway. If you don't want any spoilers, click off. We have just seen the first major death of the series, and it took 700 pages to get to this point, so it was kind of strange reading the first 700 pages and me wondering, like, why is no one dead yet? Why are people on the brink of death? Why are they holding on to their life and they're still not dead? Because healers came to the rescue and saved them. Oh my gosh. And like Lorcan and Allied, oh my gosh, Aiden and Lysandra, these love stories are like, I'm trying to think back to all these times I was introduced to these characters and how did we get from them not really knowing each other to now falling in love. For me, I kind of feel like it was kind of insta-lovey, but it's not. Like, I'm kind of into it. Lorcan and Allied is still 100% my favorite. I think because of how like angry and aggressive Lorcan is and how like quaint and quiet and small Allied is. I don't know, so much is happening in this book, and how is this book supposed to end in 200 pages? I don't know. Like, I'm literally just staring at the cover while I'm talking about it, because is Dorian gonna die? Is Aiden gonna die? Are they both gonna die? Are they both gonna survive? But how? And they've also brought up the question of like, what if Irene just like purified Erwin, took the demon out of him or whatever, took the Valge out of him, and then the world is whole again? Because if you take out the source, you take out everybody. But then that's another thing. Like, what if they just force Locke to take out Erwin right away and then everyone is saved? 200 pages left. How the heck is she gonna wrap up this entire series in 200 pages? But yes, this entire book is literally just them fighting, like Adian fighting his war, and then KO fighting his war to Neil, and then Man in Blackbeak fighting other wars with the witches, and then Dorian fighting a war with Marath. Everyone's so scattered, but we're slowly coming together. I know my brain is like super scattered with this book, but it's because this book is so scattered. It all comes together in the end. I know it does. It's just while reading it and trying to explain it to you, so many things are happening at once. And Sarah J. Maas actually writes it very well for me to be able to keep up. But I said that if I ever reread this book, I would skip a few or something, but I don't even know if I want to reread the series anymore. Like, this is so much. Maybe in a couple of years, like in a decade or something, because I need to forget like a lot of the details of this series before I go back into it, or else I will realize how long this is, how many details there are to keep up with. But I think rereading it would give me a different perspective and also help me appreciate the characters more, figure out like what people's intentions are, and maybe help with the foreshadowing. Like, maybe Sarah J. Maas got some clues from like the very beginning of the books to help hint at what's going on in the future books, you know? But that is this update. The next clip is probably gonna be hopefully me being done with the book, unless something crazy happens and I just have to tell you guys what I think. But that's it. We're so close. We're so close. I'm gonna be done with the series that I started back in January, and now it is almost October and I'm still reading Kingdom of Ash. Okay, see you later. The day has come where I can say that I have finished another fantasy series. We finished Kingdom of Ash yesterday, and I literally had maybe 30 pages left until the book was done. And honestly, the ending, it went by a little faster than I expected, and I think I blame it on the fact that I kind of binge read up until the end of the war, pretty much, and then I stopped reading. And then the last 15 pages or so was like the wrap up after the war, how everyone ended up, who ended up with who, where everyone went after the war, like if they went home, if they stayed in Teresin and all that stuff. And it was just very, actually I'm not gonna say very, it was kind of underwhelming, because like I feel like I was waiting for this epic battle of like Maeve, Erwin, Aelin, like fighting for like 50 chapters or something. Like there's going to be a lot of deceiving, like hiding behind pillars, like jumping from here to here to here between everyone, like a lot of things just happening before they actually like end everything. But really what the book was maybe like 4 different wars going on in 4 different locations. So Aylin's party, or I guess, what did I call him? Her group? I don't know, her royal court, her court. Aylin's court was all separated into like 4 different wars doing the same thing, and it wasn't until maybe the last few chapters where everyone was finally in the same place. And now that everyone's finally in the same place, they were able to defeat Arwen and Maeve all at the same time in like maybe 2 or 3 chapters. And these chapters aren't very long, in my opinion. They're maybe like 4 pages, 5 pages max, maybe a little less. But it sucks to say that I'm relieved that I am finally done reading Throne of Glass. It was a very good series. I did give it a 5 out of 5 stars. I gave pretty much the entire series a 5 out of 5 stars, but now that it's completed, now that I finished it, I know how this ends. I don't know if this is a series that I want to reread in the near future. Maybe in like years and years down the line, if I'm feeling going back into a fantasy series or something. It's a very good fantasy series, I will say that. It's very intricate. Sarah J. Maas did really good with all the details. She did really good with like developing each of the characters. Although some love interests I think were kind of insta-lovey, such as Nesrin and Sartok. I think their love was just because of proximity. Same with Kaol and Yrene. Everything was proximity. Like those 2 relationships budded in just Tower of Dawn. There was no build-up. I didn't really feel the chemistry. It just felt like they were spending so much time together that it was just inevitable that they would fall in love. Versus in Heir of Fire, whenever we are introduced to Rowan, it's kind of like this love-hate relationship where he's just a teacher to use her face side, but he's also like taking care of her at the same time because he knows her value. And she is finally experiencing someone that sees her for her and not just as a tool or a weapon. And so I think that's really beautiful versus like Nesrin and Sartok. They kind of just both have the same goal of Nesrin trying to convince the Khaganate to side with them in this war. And Sartok's over here like, well, I'm about to go home and I kind of like you, so let me bring you along. And then Kaol and Yrene, she's obviously the healer that had to heal his legs. Those are just the 2 relationships where I'm just like, did this need to happen? Did they have to fall in love? Like, I think if that didn't happen, the storyline would have been just fine. Although I guess having a love interest in every single book is kind of a must-have because it's a romantic, not really romantic, a more adventurous, slightly romantic fantasy series. It's kind of an accomplishment for me that I can say that I have finished another series. But now that I am done reading this, considering I started the series in January and now it is almost October, I would like to take a break from reading these long series. I think I want to go more into classics. I'm ready for the classic books. I have Wuthering Heights on my shelf. I've got A Tale of Two Cities on my shelf. I think I might have Moby Dick, but I'm ready to just calm down, slow it down, not try and read a book once a week or once every 2 weeks anymore. I just want to really absorb these classics and what these authors have to say from the 1800s. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for following along this Throne of Glass series, whatever. I'm sorry that I didn't really think about filming the reactions or me reading the first few books. I think I started this with Queen of Shadows maybe. I really wish I had filmed Heir of Fire. I felt so many good emotions. Like I'm still between whether I want to make Empire of Storms or Heir of Fire #1. I actually think Heir of Fire is still going to be #1. What I felt reading Heir of Fire, the love, the angst, the like power in them as a couple and learning about each other was so awesome. I don't know how else to explain it, but yeah. So Heir of Fire is the #1 of the series for me. I'm sure so many other people can agree Rowan was just an awesome character in that book. But if I were to determine who was my favorite character of the entire series, I think I like Manon. Manon Blackbeak was really cool because she was like so fierce, kind of agitating, kind of stubborn in all her ways, but then she learned to be open and care for other people and stuff. Oh my gosh, Lorcan Allied. Oh my gosh, okay, I'm gonna give 3. I like Allied. If I had to choose between Allied and Manon, I'd still choose Manon. Okay, it would be Manon, and then Allied, and then Lorcan. And Lorcan and Allied are obviously my favorite couple of the entire series. I can't believe I forgot about them. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna wrap this up now. Thank you so much for watching this series or Kingdom of Ash, reading vlog, whatever. I finished it. I'm completed. And I will see you in the next video of whatever that may be. Okay, bye!